Welcome back, IGCSE students. We're looking at statistics. We're continuing in our look at that, and we're going to look at mode, median and mean, as well as the range today. Well, when we're looking at statistics, what we want to do is investigate where our center of data is. That's one thing we want to find out. Where's essential kind of data going to be found? And the three ways that we're looking at to measure the center of data are mode, median and mean. And then the other thing that we're also interested in is the spread of the data. So range is a way of measuring how spread out data is, and another way, which we're not looking at today, is the interquartile range. We've done that before. And another way is looking at the standard deviation and variation, which you would do in Statistics 1 in Year 12 or 13. So let's talk about that by looking at some data that I've got here. I've just got some numbers. I think there's 13 of them. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there's 13 pieces of data here. Now, the mode is the one item of data or that has the greatest frequency. So you can see here that our mode is going to be equal to 8 in this case, because we've got 3 8s, and that's the number that appears the most. Now, the thing about the mode is it's generally not useful in a small amount of data. Sometimes you can have more than one mode. For instance, if we had 3 4s with this piece, data, we'd have a mode of 4 and 8. One thing that it might be useful for, I'm just thinking, would be, if you owned a store and you were trying to reorder in some shirts, and you've got sizes from extra small through to extra large, and you might find that, in our particular suburb, maybe the mediums are the ones that sell the most because they have the mode number that's been sold. And so you might use that kind of data to help you decide how many to order of each size. Median. Let's talk about median. So median is the midpoint of our data. So we take our data and divide it into two equal parts. So here we've got 13 items of data. So on one side we'll have these 6, and on the other side we'll have these 6. And so our median will be this 7 here. The good thing about the median is that it's going to be bang in the middle of your data, and it's not going to be impacted by really high values at either extreme of your range. So for example, if you have a big high value at here, maybe we had 120 stay instead of 12, it's not going to impact that. It's going to still be in this center here. Okay, so another way of saying this is it's not using all points of your data, it's just finding the central point of data. Now mean, you know what mean is. We have to sum all of this data and divide by the number of items of data. So the good thing about mean is that you're using all of your data to find a central value. The danger of a mean is that sometimes it's going to be impacted by a large something that is an outlier. So say for example, if we had 120 instead of 12 here. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just sum this together. So we have 86. So the mean in this case is going to be 86 divided by 13. Now that will equal 6.61. So this is 6.61 6.62 to 2 decimal places. Now I just want to show you what would happen if we change this to 120. So instead of 86, we'd have 194. So the mean in this case, 194 over 120, over 13, sorry, would give us 14.92. Now you can see that this is not a very good measure of central tendency, because that value would be right in there, and you can see that 12 items of data these ones here, are going to be less than that, and only one is above it, the 120. So you see that the mean can be impacted by a very high value. Okay, the last thing we need to talk about is our range. So our range in this case is the highest value, 12, subtract the lowest value, 2. So a range is going to be 10. Now let's try an example from our textbook. This example, we've got a box of paper clips that's printed, and it says the average, on it says average contains 80. We've got 60 boxes of these paper clips, and for some bizarre reason, in maths it's like this, the office manager decided to get someone to count the paper clips in each box. That sounds like a useful use of somebody's time. So there were 77 clips in 4 boxes, 78 clips in 3 boxes, etc. And so he is going to calculate some of the mean, the median, and the mode, and decide whether the average contents of 80 is an accurate statement. Okay, so let's go about this. First of all, we're going to do the mean. Now, I've just gone ahead and already added an extra line or column, to my table here, fx. And how I get my fx values is I did 77 times 4, and that gave me 308, and 78 times 3, and that gave me 234. So the mean, as you know, is the sum of fx divided by the sum of f. And in this case, if I've calculated this correctly, it's going to be 4,802, this total here, divided by 60. And let's see what that gives us. 4,802 divided by 60 is 80.03. So our first value for our mean is 80.03. Now we're going to work on our median number. Median. Now, to find a median on a table like this, what we need to do is look at how many we've got in total of the boxes. We've got 60. So halfway of 60, we're looking at the midway between the 30th and 31st box. So you start counting from one end. So 4 plus 3 is 7. So by the end of these two rows, we're up to 7. By the end of the first 3 rows, we're up to 21. And by the end of this one, we're in 30 and 31. So we're in this territory here for our mean, for our median, because the 30th and the 31st boxes occur in this row. So the median will be 80. If you're struggling with that, just remember the median is the middle value, and we've lined up all of our data. There's a lot of it. There's 60 items of data. And instead of me writing out 77 3 times, and 78 3 times, and 79 14 times, and 80 18 times, etc., and then finding the 30 and 31st, I've just used this frequency column here to find that answer. Okay, the last thing is the modal number of clips. Okay, now you just have to find the modal column, the modal row. So it looks to me to be this one here. So that's 80. So the modal number is 80 because it has the highest frequency. There are 18 boxes with 80 clips, and all the rest have a smaller number than that. So for each of our measures of central tendency, we have 80 or above. So was the statement average contains 80 accurate? Yes, it was, because all measures of central tendency gave us at least 80. Alright, well, I hope this makes sense, guys. Have a go at the exercise. Let me know if you have any problems with it, and I will get back to you with help as soon as I can. God bless. See you next time.